It's Friday, September 7. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says that information gleaned from the 2016-2017 Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey shows that the country is moving in the wrong direction in terms of public health issues. Dr. Tufton noted that 1 in 2 Jamaicans are affected by obesity. 1 in 3 Jamaicans are affected by hypertension, and 1 in 8 are affected by diabetes. He also noted that in terms of chikungunya and Zika virus, more than 70% of the population may have been affected, and more than 50% of the population have been affected enough to require medical attention. He said that these occurrences threatened economic development, especially in terms of productivity and the cost to the public health system. Activities for the first phase of the $2.5 billion Vernon Field Development Project in Clarendon are expected to get underway by the end of October. This, according to Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mike Henry, who said activities will include debushing and clearing of the existing runways. He provided an update on the project at a Rotary Club of Kingston meeting held at the Hotel Four Seasons in St. Andrew on Wednesday.
Phase 1 will commence on lands already earmarked for the project and will utilize the existing runway assets. The AAJ has planned for and budgeted for the development of the first 170 acres, and I'm giving it in a time approach. Those 170 acres have already been transferred to the Airports Authority of Jamaica. They include the runway, which the AAJ is going to seek to restore in a very short order. The sum of the $300 million is in the budget. It includes debushing, clearance of the disposal and fences and gates, primary electrical connection and distribution, runway testing and rehabilitation, terminal building, permanent marking, and operation plans on different themes. Because what is very important is to appreciate that the Aerotropolis concept is developed on different economic themes of development, which is part of the logistics approach too.
Dubbed the Atropolis Vernon Field, the project involves the development of lands that previously housed an army base, an aerodrome to provide international air cargo and logistics system services, and aeronautical training school.
So the vision of the project is being advanced on a phased basis. Phase 1 will see the general aviation activities such as hands-on flight training, initial MRO or maintenance, repair and overall activities. And I might pause on the MRO activity because the repair of aeroplanes only took place until 10 years ago in 2 places in the world, Singapore and Europe. Therefore, since then, Mexico, Costa Rica is moving in those streams, and Panama and others are trying to put into that program. Jamaica is ideal for maintenance, repair, and overhauls of activities. Crop dusting, hangars, accommodate these aeronautical activities which will be transferred, for instance, from Tinson Pen to Vernon Field.
Minister Henry said Vernon Field will offer bulk manufacturing and logistics facilities. Henry said $300 million has been set aside to carry out the initial activities, which also include erecting fences and gates, primary electrical connection and distribution, and runway testing and rehabilitation. One of the Caribbean's leading family resorts, Franklin D. Resort, FDR, in St. Anne, has joined a growing list of entities supporting the move to preserve the environment by banning the use of plastic straws on the property. Sales manager Trishana Davidson said further action to preserve the environment will be taken by the hotel. The move by FDR is important not just for the hotel, but for Jamaica as a whole, as the country has been facing increased plastic pollution problems over the years. The move by FDR is important, not just for the hotel, but for Jamaica as a whole, as the country has been facing increased plastic pollution problems over the years. The move also supports the stance of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, the JHTA, which earlier this year reiterated its support for a proposed banning of single-use plastic and styrofoam containers, citing the danger it poses to the environment and the food chain, and also the tourism product. The 2018 Cannabis Jamaica Business Conference and Expo was launched on Thursday. The event included announcements relevant to the 2018 hosting of the Caribbean's premier Cannabis Business Conference and Expo, including speakers from around the world. Countries expected in attendance are Canada, USA, Israel, Czech Republic, Colombia, Mexico, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Panama, and more. According to Douglas Gordon of the 2018 Cannabis Jamaica Business Conference and Expo, the speakers include Vicente Fox, a former president of Mexico, and Bruce Linton, chairman and CEO of Canopy Growth, the largest cannabis country in the world with a market value of $12 billion. The expo will be hosted at the Montego Bay Conference Center in Montego Bay, St. James between September 27 and September 29.
Cannabis Jamaica would love to see and want to see and is working towards ensuring that Jamaica sits with respect in the epicenter of this industry. So it's not just a cultural, historical, iconic association with the plant, but it really sits as a place where you can, embrace and own that niche that it has. It cannot be replicated anywhere else in the world that associates with the industry. That's number one. And number two, and very, very important, I think while we embrace the, all the global investments and all the different opportunities that present themselves, we also have to own the fact that being this close to the equator, that's really one of the key points that the Caribbean has as a point of differentiation, and we can't let that go.
Livingston Kane, the juror accused of bribing fellow jurors in the Vybz Kartel, whose real name is Adidja Palmer, murder trial, will know his fate later this month. Kane's attorney, Queen's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson, made a no-case submission after the prosecution closed its case against him in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court this week. Nita Robertson, in her no-case submission, argued that her client is entitled to his own analysis of the evidence and that he had such a view in respect of several areas of the evidence. Kane is being tried on 6 counts of attempting to pervert the course of justice and 1 count of conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, following allegations that he was captured on a phone recording offering the jury foreman in the Kartel murder trial $500,000 for a not guilty verdict. In regional news, we look to Guyana, where the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union, GTU, have agreed to send their industrial dispute to arbitration, paving the way for striking teachers to end their action and resume their duties today. The two sides met on Thursday in the latest effort to reach an agreement on the wage dispute that has resulted in teachers staying away from schools at the new school term. The GTU is demanding a 40% pay hike for 2016 and 5% annually from 2017 to 2020. The government said it would cost the state $4 billion if it is to meet the GTU demands, and is instead offering $700 million to cover across-the-board increases and $200 million to cover the bunching. The two sides are said to be discussing the terms of resumption that could include no loss of pay or seniority. The decision by the arbitration would be binding on both sides. In sports, the Reggae Boys will be looking to extend their 6-game unbeaten run in 2018 when they take on Ecuador at the Red Bull Arena in New Jersey on Friday. This is the 4th time that both teams are meeting each other, with Ecuador holding the head-to-head record with 2 wins and a draw against Jamaica. The last time both teams met in 2011, Jamaica lost 5-2 to Ecuador. This game is being used in preparation for Jamaica's first game in the CONCACAF League of Nations, which is on Sunday against the Cayman Islands. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.